Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Specialized Library Spotlight. Today, I am here with Colby Maddox, who is the manager of the Resource Center at Old Town School of Folk Music. Welcome, Colby.
Oh, thank you for having me, Debbie.
It's great to have you. I think you are one of our more unique libraries resource centers. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself and kind of tell us your role and how you got to where you are.
Sure. So I started at Old Town in 1999, finishing up a traveling music job that I had. And basically, Old Town was expanding greatly because it had just taken over the Hild Library, the old Hild Library, as a building, which we bought from the city for like $1.
Wow.
Yeah, and turned it into a music school. So it was huge expansion time, and they had a library which I had used in the old location, so I knew about it. And I said, "Was anybody going to do that?" And I was asked to write you know, basically a paper to say what I would do if it was kind of like writing a school assignment
Yeah.
to the executive director. A feasibility study is what we called it, and and then I was hired. So I was punching the clock at 20 hours a week to like organize a collection that had been moved over from our Armitage building. Um, and it had a catalog, electronic catalog of like on FileMaker, but it was different,
Yeah.
It
I'll
was
bet.
obvious it was going to be different. So within the first year, I was able to get a genre-based shelving system in place so that people could find things like they find things in a record store. And I was able to get started on recataloging using FileMaker to recatalog and using volunteer help to do that. I had a couple of consultants just to help me get going to create a shelving code system and to create the screens in FileMaker. Um, but it was mostly volunteer work, and we were in fact open. We opened it up for circulation and to the general population of Old Town schools, teachers, administrators, which at the time was like 250 people.
Okay.
And then we were, open for people to come browse and hang out while we were cataloging.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
that's not easy to do.
No, it really felt like we were forging a new trail. Like every morning I would go in and there'd be stacks of recordings or books on my desk, and I had to go, make sure that the volunteers entry was at least halfway correct, and then print labels and get things organized. And so it was like it was like Groundhog Day every day. But it produced a really usable collection. Within about I would say, years, we got sort of finished with
Yeah.
that. And that's 17,000 records in FileMaker that are LPs, CDs, books, instructional books, reference books like fake books with charts that people use. All of it getting a lot of use. With the fake books get a lot of use because people use those to create charts for class. Teachers
Mm.
did. CDs were super ridiculously popular in 2000. People loved CDs,
Right.
right? Remember that?
Yeah.
um, and LPs were still cool. So we were packed in a very small space, and it
Well,
wasn't.
peas are still cool.
Yeah, they're more cool now.
True.
Um, we were packed in a very small space. So 2006, we expanded. We used some MacArthur money to bust out the wall into the storage room and like sort of all more than double our size. And got some really great shelving from Bradford as part of that, and some compact shelving for the LPs. So the LPs were safely finally, because the LPs were getting kind of crowded.
Yeah.
It was, and we since then, for that library collection, we've taken on a lot more donations. The origin of most of that material is donations,
Oh,
but
it
we're
is.
talking,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, but we're talking about like we have the books from our founders library,
Yeah.
as part of that. We have complete jazz collections, lifetime jazz and folk collections that are donated. I can just think out the top of my head.
Yeah.
So it's not like just a little here, a little there. A lot of times it's like, several linear feet
Wow.
of really high quality donations, um, and stuff that's intended for libraries too. Like None Such put out a whole series of ethnographic and like regional, like style oriented LPs. They're very plain and they're meant for they're compilations that are meant for libraries. They're just killer. They've got great stuff on them.
Wow.
Lots of examples like that.
Yeah. You must have
Um,
some really cool stuff in the collection.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's it's I feel like I know it pretty well, but we're now in our second round of cataloging. We're getting ready to put this stuff. All of our records were transferred from FileMaker to Verso, which is handled by Autographics, and we're working with Autographics.
Okay.
We did an export of all the information, and it went really well. The export, we had to do like a couple of exports, but
Right.
I feel like we landed on our feet on that one. And so now we are barcoding the collection for the first time.
Okay.
Yep, barcoding, and as in that same process, cleaning up all the records and making sure everything is ready to go. But we are just loving using actual software that's designed for a library.
Yeah.
That's fun, and we have a
Wow.
great person we work with at Autographics, so that's going well. I was able to hire two catalogers to work with me. I've never had that before. It's always been volunteer work, so
Yeah.
which is
That's
a different
great.
different pace. So
Yeah.
it'll all be available online and for interlibrary loan soon, and we're expanding our loaning base
Okay.
to past just the people that work at Old Town School. It's going to be
So currently it's the people that work there and the students, correct?
the students don't have checkout privileges.
Oh, they don't. Okay.
That is the part that's going to change. Is I'm working with our membership department to determine at what member we're going to get a membership point at which somebody will get a library card.
Okay.
And so there will be thousands of more people who it circulates to, and who the collection circulates to. And we're going to go through Find More Illinois
Okay.
and make things available through interlibrary loan. So we have very unique things because it's all related to vernacular music,
Right.
different kinds of vernacular music. In baked into that, there is classical music, but it's the music. It's not an exhaustive collection of classical music, but there are the pieces. There are Bach pieces. There's Telemann pieces that we hold on to because those are all core for most practicing musicians to work that stuff out. It's a really great jazz collection and a great jazz instructional collection. There are instructional books that we specialize in, intro level instructional books. We have like a whole variety of those. Anything Old Town teaches, we carry. Very good piano section, and we've had the luck of being able to sort through a lot of donations, and so that's.
So if I mean, obviously we're kind of in a pandemic right now, but when we're not, are members of the public allowed to come in to the resource center? They are. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our open hours are when we're in business for 20 years. Our open hours were
Right.
after work, so 3 o'clock to like 8. I think it was at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 3 o'clock to 9:30 in the evening.
Okay. Well, that's perfect.
Yeah, there was always a volunteer there. It's on Lincoln Avenue, in Lincoln Square. So you can make a hit on us anytime. We're in the basement.
Awesome.
And always staffed by a volunteer who can do all the searches and do all the work. And in the new reopening, I will be able to retain my paid help to bring the volunteers along with the new procedures, but because there's a lot, it's real now. We have barcodes. We have a barcode scanner. It's so
a
exciting.
Real library, real cataloging system. You're all set, aren't you?
A really good search mechanism too. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm familiar with Autographics. Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys truly are like the definition of a specialized library, obviously. So I'm just curious, why do you think these types of libraries are just are important?
Well, I mean, in libraries, period, are important. Specialized libraries are really important because they cover a subject area that's not um, either. Well, in our case, what we're doing is we're holding on to formats that aren't available in regular libraries anymore because libraries got rid of LPs. Um, and you don't see a concentrated collection like ours just anywhere. The Library of Congress has a folk life center.
Hmm.
It's very similar. What they have on their outer shelves, and when you walk into the folk life center, very similar to the selection that we have in terms of books and recordings. Um, and it's a concentrated collection, so you can find stuff that's related. You can browse and
Yeah.
you get a full picture instead of just finding that one isolated book maybe in that you're looking for. You'll find lots of related things. So if that's where your head's at trying to find vernacular music eh, or information about it, it's good for that. And if you're a musician and you're looking for um, music
Yeah.
to teach, or method books to teach, um, something that's not part of the canon, that's not a classical, not strictly classical music, you'll find that there. We have many different kinds of instructional books, everything from um, from how to play the charango to how to play Latin percussion to how to play Indian ragas. So
Wow.
it's anything that relates to a specific culture. That's where our interest lies.
Wow. That's awesome. It really is. I mean, what a great resource and probably a really cool place to work and to
Yeah,
catalog. And you probably do know that collection better than anybody, I can imagine. So, well, thank you for joining us today and sharing a little bit about the resource center there. And
yeah.
yeah, it was really interesting. Thank you so much, Colby.
Okay. Take care of it.
Take care.